Okay, welcome everyone to our open house 2023. So we do this yearly just to provide you guys update that what we are up to, how we are tracking, what are our financials, so that everything is transparent in front of you guys. So I'll quickly share the agenda. Um, So we'll just do the team introductions. We'll inform you guys what our 2023 goals are, what we have done this year, what are membership statistics, what are fundraising statistics, financials, appointment of accountant and auditor, and then the most frequently asked question, the charity status, the bylaws and constitution update, and our upcoming dinner. So the people that you see in front of you are the people in the Alumni Association that you guys elected last year. Um, so we have Rai Awarbai as the secretary, the VP of Corporate Governance, Adnan Rana as the trader. She looks after our engagement and events. And then we have independent directors. So just so that most of you guys understand, not all board members can be officers. So the top four are officers which are required. And if you read the bylaws, it would actually explain it better for you guys. And then Shiraz Bhai, Azka, and Qasim are basically keep us in check that we are performing uh, to our abilities. Okay, so moving on, we have the what are our goals for this for this year, and what are we planning to do next year. So this year our most focus was because 2022 we were still an interim board. We were also still under COVID restrictions. So our goal in 2023 was to actually increase the engagement, increase our donors, explore the foundation status, see if we can restart our mentorship program that we used to run in 2021 as a pilot, and support our alumni businesses and provide support for career development. In the next year, obviously, as things go in, we are trying to elaborate things, trying to become compliant with the Canadian laws. And we are trying to do that bylaw update this year so that next year, when the elections happen, we are not changing bylaws in the election year. So some of you may have attended this event. So I'll start with the accomplishments. We had this event in March. Most of it was a snowstorm, but I believe most of the people were able to make it. Um, uh, Many politicians attended the event as well. Kids enjoyed as well. So I'll quickly glance through all these things in the next 15-20 minutes because I want to make sure that you guys have time to ask questions as well. And then we had endorsements from all the politicians, including the Prime Minister and the Premier of Ontario. Due to this, we were able to lobby and send the mayor of Brampton, Patrick Brown, to Pakistan and FAST. And we were the ones who were we actually lobbied for this, that he should visit Pakistan, and not necessarily FAST. We made the introduction in NED, IBA, and all other places that he went to, including PITB as well. So that's one of our major accomplishments this year. And FAST signed an MOU with them for the startup visa program. And if Rector Sahib is able to come this year, we'll probably be signing an MOU with the university as well. So last year we had only four major chapters. So this year, since we are now trying to go locally and make sure that we serve and build communities for our alumni across Canada, so we have added a lot of chapters. This doesn't include the Women's Forum, but we have added the Kitchener Waterloo chapter, which Rida runs, Niagara one, Adil Bhai and Hassan Makar run, Montreal, Zara and Ahmed are doing a great job there. Ottawa recently started in this summer, but they have been very active as well with Osama there. Saskatchewan, for now, I am leading it. as an interim because most of the people over there are generally students. So, but we plan on transferring that leadership to somebody local over there as well. And Atlantic Festival is running it, and we recently created London as well. We had a Kitchener Waterloo Cambridge chapter, but now we have 6, 7 people in London. So we have created a London chapter as well. Any questions so far? Keep on moving. I'll take that as a yes.
Yep.
Okay. So I have actually stopped count of how many events we had this year because our goal was to encourage local meetups. But I'm aware of at least 27 that happened. I think every chapter is doing 2, 3 events every quarter. So kudos to all of you, all the our local chapter leads for initiating, and not necessarily chapter leads, are also local chapter members for pushing and getting these events done. And apologies, I couldn't fit all the pictures here. So if your chapter specific picture is missing, I could only fit a few here. Um, Another initiative that I'm very proud of that we're doing is empowering our alumni, and Shiri, Maliha, and Askar doing a great job. We have a separate group for Women's Forum, and they have been doing their separate meetups just for female alumni as well. So while there were some other informal events, but there was big effort put in picnics by some big chapters. So I wanted to have separate slides for them. So we had a summer picnic in Toronto. I was not part of it because I was not in Canada, but thanks Shini and all the volunteers who ran the show. Similarly, in Vancouver, Raza, Hassan, Ehsan, Adnan Bhai for running a great show and picnic in Vancouver. And then obviously in Calgary, Yawar Bhai and team for doing a great picnic in Calgary as well. Okay, so we are still actively engaged with all the other alumni association as well, trying to do things that or we can bring so that we can bring everyone together. Because in certain capacities we cannot help as in alumni, because most of our alumni are in tech roles. So that's where other alumni chapters can help us, and they also send people to us if they need help in for their CS programs where they don't have a lot of alumni there. We are discussing creating a joint foundation, and I'll come to that later. But I'll just keep it to that. So apart from that, we are still actively collaborating with our community partners. And you must have seen we've done events with Open, we have done events with Park Launch. So this summer we did this event in Studio 89. I think many of you were in the present in the call were there as well, like Shiraz Bhai and Shiri. And both Ali and Farhan are run their own businesses. They were actually our guests. So we reached out to GK Alumni Association as well to be partners with us on this. And these are some of the pictures from that event that we had as part of Park Launch this year. Apart from that, yes, there's a lot that more that can be done in this domain, but we are started slowly getting into that. Kasim has been dedicatedly working on resume reviews. We did a session for job search in March. We are doing another session on the coming weekend with Omer. And the challenge with this is we don't have a lot of volunteers who want to mentor. So we are working on plans how we can actually increase this, not necessarily for alumni in Canada, but also for students back home. Apart from that, we are also doing business support and community events. There was a event done with Ali Hussain of Open Toronto. He runs an accelerator for technical services startup. The first session was really great. I think 24 of our alumni from Canada reached out to him, so he wants to now do a second session. So Shiri is planning that out when we want to do it, probably after Thanksgiving, US Thanksgiving weekend. But that's another way of us to support our community. And then there were a lot of questions that we get for the how to easily get into Canada. So Usman has helped us with that as well with one of the webinars. Okay, coming to the numbers, last open house that we had 251 members. As of today, we have 569 members who for whom we have the data. Our targeted growth was 20%, but we had a growth of actually 127%. So instead, in front of you, you have all the statistics. Obviously, there are a lot of members in Ontario, but we have, if you see Nova Scotia, there's been, I believe, one or two members last year. Now there are 12 people over there. Saskatchewan is considerably increased as well in Alberta. So, and then the thing is, people move as well. So unless they update us with their current location, we would still have the data at the time of registration. So these statistics may not be 100% correct, but this is what the data we have on our side. However, in terms of paid membership, we had a decline. And I'll be transparent. Last open house, we had 14 paid memberships at that time. But then when the election announcement came in, a lot of people paid membership fee to be eligible for like to vote for the elections. So by the time elections happened, we had 54 voting members. But at the time of open house, we had 14. But this year we only had 28 people. So if you can consider it as a growth from the open house, but I think we are overall in a decline. We only received $560 in membership fees. Just for people to understand why there's a criteria for membership fee and scholarship to be a voting member, because we don't want to use any of your money for that you've donated for scholarship for to run our administrative expenses. And those of you who run corporations or independent contractors do understand that there are certain expenses that go into running a corporation. And I'll come to that. What are those major expenses later as well? So, so this year for membership, we only raised $560. Uh, in terms of scholarships, our numbers were significantly down as well. We in 2021 in Canada we raised 4,769. Last year were around 4,370, and this year we have for scholarships we only got 2,680, and these are one or two recurring donors who donate monthly that are there. But keep in mind that this number doesn't include the donations that board members give for operational expenses as well. So this is just the amount that was received for scholarship this year. So we still have time for the until the end of this year to increase this number, but I would seriously hope that we don't go below what we have been raising so far. Moving on, there was a request from people to uh, start explore uh, a platform which doesn't charge any credit card processing fee to us. So we explored Zephy, that's acting as our CRM as well as kind of a ticket management system. But though we don't recommend, you can still pay us through Interac or PayPal. But PayPal would have a certain administrative fee. So we prefer that you go and pay our donation automatically ties to your profile, and we don't have to do any and you can pay your membership fee there as well. You can put up a recurring option. This was something that also came up the last um open house, that people forget about paying membership fee. So we already enabled this year and at the end of the last year an auto recurring option for membership fee. So that shouldn't be an excuse anymore. Okay, so total revenue that we actually received, and this doesn't include the events. So I know there's the ticket, their prices, their tickets sell through our platform as well. But excluding events, we had, as I said, donations were 2680. We received a sponsorship for 1505, and then membership fees were 560. The total revenue that we had this year was 4,745, and this is to date. Uh, a lot of people ask us if we've done the event, the annual dinner from the scholarship money. That's actually not true. We actually raised sponsorships for that annual soiree for 5,300. Ticket sales were around 7,475. So we had a total revenue 12,775. We negotiated with some of our vendors, informing them that we don't have a lot of money because our initial estimate to do this event was around 16,000. But we actually brought it down to significantly low, around 12,000. So the expenses that were claimed by that we paid either directly to the vendors or claimed by the volunteers were 12,047, with a net profit of $728. But the expenses may be more because some people obviously didn't claim gas money, or volunteers didn't, they visited twice or thrice just to get some stuff done. So actual expenses may be more, but these are the expenses that we actually paid out of our treasury. And I'm not sure if Adnan Bhai has joined the call. If he has, he can explain, but I'll just move on. Okay, so that's what I was earlier explaining, that obviously we have our domain, website, and hosting cost, all the IT setup that you guys see, like email accounts for that we run for our members. We pay our accountants, we file our corporate returns. We try to be very environment friendly, but sometimes we have to mail out the documents, and then we have engaged legal services for the charity status as well. So there's some money that goes out there as well, and you guys understand how expensive the lawyers are. So if I'm at that stage of the presentation where we have to now appoint our accountant for the coming year, Naveed has helped us with two previous filings as well. So I'll put the motion forward, or if somebody can put the motion forward to appoint him as our accountant for the next year as well, I'll really appreciate it. If no concerns from everyone, can a board member put the motion forward?
Sure, Rafael. This is Rai. So I'll put the motion forward to have Naveed run as our accountant next year.
Okay, and I'll second that. Any concerns from anyone?
No objection.
Okay, I'll give 5 more seconds.
No objection.
Okay, so Yavarbai, please document. We have appointed Naveed as our accountant for the next year as well. Okay, so charity status. I think this is the most frequently asked question, I would say, that we get. So we engaged our lawyers as well. We explained them everything. We had few meetings with them as well. So one of the things that they came back with was that while in US you can do social engagement and charitable work together, in Canada you cannot do that. So just to explain it in a better way, if you guys go to Sick Kids Hospital, they have a Sick Kids Foundation. If you go to a hospital, they have an associated foundation which does the charitable work. So the lawyers have said to us that you can either just abandon all the social work that you guys are doing and request the charity status, and then FAST Alumni Association doesn't do any social work, and then you guys can we can apply for your charity status. Or you have to form a sister entity, which would be FAST Alumni Canada Foundation, which would be doing charity work, taking the donations, and it would have an independent board of directors. Yes, there can be 2 or 3 board members that can overlap there as well, but it would be a separate entity that we would have to manage. So now I have been having this discussion with CPAC members as well, because all of them are also in the same state. Some are actually, so our donations are not significant, but if you compare it with UET and NED, they are raising, $25,000, $30,000 a year for scholarships. And they still have the same status as our, which is NPO. So based on our lawyers, their recommendation was it doesn't make sense for you guys to, if you guys gonna have the same donations of $5,000-$6,000, even the auditor that you would actually appoint would charge that amount of money. So unless you have donations like 100K or so, uh, we would recommend you having a charity status. But they also said that people don't donate unless you have a charity status. So maybe after you get a sister foundation in place, there were the you can go into the matching programs as well, and seek some government grants as well for funding. So now we are in a chicken and egg situation. So our discussion with the CPAC members has been so far, and it's challenging because when you have so many other foundations involved as well, because everybody has to take approval from their board of directors, is that we create one foundation which has projects for all the universities, and that foundation just does the charitable work. And with that, everybody can share the administrative expenses of it. So this is what the status right now is. We have lawyers engaged for it still. They are waiting for our recommendation on next steps, what to do. So with the people on the call, I just wanted to have your um, kind of, because I know we talked about this in May, but your insights on how should we go about handling this, because we want to seek your active feedback on this, how to pursue this. Should we go for our independent foundation status, or should we abandon this idea altogether, or should we explore the foundation status with other fellow CPAC members? So I'm just going to pause here and seek for feedback from people. Any insights from anyone? Can you guys still hear me though?
So, what's gonna happen if we go with CPAC members? Like if we have the combined charity, how would that work?
So the idea, and that's what we are still, discussing, is that we will create an entity. The in the entity, the current president of that alumni association would be one of the directors. So they would always obviously have multiple directors. Every president or like whosoever would be nominated from the alumni association would be one of the directors of that joint foundation. And basically on our website as well, that charity, the donation would be actually collected by that charity, or we'll provide the link of that foundation. The amount would go there on. So when you'll go to their website, you'll select FAST as one of the like FAST scholarship is one of the projects, and donate against that. Similarly, there would be an NED or UET projects over there as well. So similar to any charity that runs here. But if all the combined CPAC members would have, for example, $100,000 worth of donation or even more, then it probably would make sense to have a charity status. Because then if you have expenses of $5,000 to $10,000 that are justifiable, but if you are collecting donations of $5,000 right now, not a lot of people maybe like the foundation is not sustainable. Apologies. But there's a different side of things as well. So when FAST Alumni Association US started, they had a similar challenge. So their donations were less, and people were not donating because they didn't have the charity status. So then they got the charity status, they got into the matching platforms. Obviously, they have more cash in hand than the Canadian alumni, but that's how have they have grown, and they are now $100,000 charity, right? So this is now a chicken and egg problem. We start and we expect that in the next few years we would have that kind of growth where we would be able to generate a significant amount of money. Considering how the situation in Pakistan is, I think the university is also depending a lot. Because just to explain to you guys that recently this month, 5 professors have left FAST because FAST cannot pay them. FAST cannot increase the fees, and also subsequently they cannot increase the salaries of the professors as well. So even the director of Lahore campus is leaving, like in at the end of this month as well. So they are relying on our support, that we would keep on increasing scholarships. So that's where we are at. I don't want to over explain it. I think I've kind of given the gist. Hope Shadi, I answered your question.
No, you did. You did. Yeah, it's a good problem to solve, actually.
Any
So
other
it's
comments on this?
yeah, I would say yes, we should work on this, but again, how to motivate people to in donating, right? People are not even paying membership right now.
Yeah, and I think that's the bigger thing, right? Because our membership fee is not that much, right? It's $20 only a year. And even with like other alumni associations, like if you see like IBA, they're 25. So it's not like we are off from anyone. I think we are also providing way a lot of benefits to our members because IBA and everybody, they're not providing group insurance plans and everything or all the perks that we are providing to our members. So my request to everybody on the call is to basically advocate, do our advocacy on our behalf because if we are because I've heard from people saving a lot of money in insurance from TD and other programs. So if you can save some money, please try donating some money because we are running this, we are trying our best to run this as professionally as possible. And we don't want to, that's why we've hired accountant from day one. We are working with the lawyers from day one to make sure that we are compliant. But any corporation that runs like that has expenses. So I really appreciate all the board members who have been contributing as well, and some other volunteers who have been helping out as well. But I think if we need to grow this organization, let me just give you an example, right? So only one alumni of NED has given 12 crores to NED this year as a scholarship, right? We don't have an example like that right now. So I know we are a young alumni association, and I have full faith that we'll grow. But I think this is every time we go ask for scholarship money, this is the first question that we ask. We are asked, hey, if you guys are a charitable status or not. So if most of you guys think that we should pursue our independent charity status, we can go ahead. But now you have to keep in mind that now instead of having, electing 7 directors, we might not have to do election for like the foundation because those directors can be some people who we can keep for a couple of years for the foundation. But now you have to maintain 2 identities and run those identities, right, separately, which is not the case in US because they are functioning under one body.
Sorry, Rafael, I was disconnected. I was actually talking that time. So have we decided on this point, or are we moving on? Still talking
No,
about
I'm
charity
just
status?
seeking. I'm just waiting if anybody else, Shadi, apart from that, you have
Yeah.
any points.
Okay.
No other insights. Should we move on and just let the board decide what to do
So,
next?
Rafael, one question. if we go for a joint with others, how the
Mhm.
cost will be divided equally with all others participants?
Yeah, so we are not going to be paying the cost. What would happen
Okay.
is that foundation would run its own operations. So for example, they set up their own entity, and uh, for their credit card fees, their office fees, whatever that is there, and they receive $100,000 in donations, but then 5% of that is the administrative cost. For example, they put like hire a paid help as well to run that charity. Then that overall, so and if all the charities raise 100,000, they would equally divide that administrative cost to all of them, and then whatever the amount remaining is. So for example, if the yearly administrative cost is 5% or 10%, they will deduct 10% or 5% of the donations that were collected on our behalf and remit those donations to FAST. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that answers my question.
Any other insights on this?
So, Rafael,
So
quick
it's
question.
no, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah. So, a quick question. You earlier mentioned that people are kind of reluctant because of not having the charity status, right? So, what if we go for the charity status? Do you think what potential donations do we see? Is it worth it? Do we see that kind of commitment that we can take that risk of getting towards a charity status? I'm like, is it going to make a very significant difference in terms of our incoming donations?
I don't know. So, Rafia, when we started FAST-NU Alumni Canada, we took a risk as well, right? Because
Yeah.
everybody said uh, this organization is not going to be sustainable. It's going to be like a 10-member association, which people are right now. Like, so for example, when we brought people in at non-run and everybody said we're going to set it up, we didn't know how many people would join in, right? And mashallah, we now have 570 members. So we didn't know expected that growth. So I cannot say, and as I explained to you, that in US they had a similar challenge, right? They had a less donation back in the day in 2008, and then 2 years later they went for the charity status. That allowed them to go into the employer programs as well. So for example, you will directly be donating from your paycheck $20, $15 every month, and then people don't feel it that way. And right now, even I was talking to one of our donors yesterday, so he wants to donate, but in his employer portal, he only sees FAST Alumni Canada US. So he donated to the US entity, which I'm fine with. I don't have an issue with that. But it's still going to that the US entity. It's not coming to us and not coming under our head, though it's being donated by one of our members. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's a chicken and egg. It's a chicken and egg problem, right? So
Yeah.
which we don't
And then,
know.
Rafael, just to add to your point, then maybe this is time for us to take the next risk, right? As we took the first risk, because eventually, like, we have a case study for the US chapter that things improved with getting a charitable status. So maybe it's time that we move on to the next level and take that risk and see how it goes.
Fair enough. So your point is very fair. The only thing that I'm just trying to put in front of you guys is that once we do that, we would need more volunteer commitment here, right? Because now you have to have, like, we can't have the same number of volunteers. Next year I'll be gone as well, and then we need fresh board members for the actual NPO, and then we'll be have to find board members for his sister foundation as well. But your point well taken. So I'm hoping Yavar bhai is taking notes for that. Any other comments?
Well, I would say
So
we should still consider that being with the other CPAC members, because to begin with, and then maybe later on we can decide to separate. My point is that. So I would vote for, like, stay with the CPAC members and then go from there.
Sounds good, Shadia. The only con that I think I've missed, kind of and I think when I was running the US entity as well, I faced that was that when you go for the matching programs, right? So when you will have the program in the matching program, you cannot specify what program you are donating to. So, for example, let's assume it's a CPAC foundation, right? Now, when a person is donating itself from, unless they put something in the comments, it's not easily identifiable that which entity this like or which program this donation is going for. So there can be a possibility, for example, we had $3,000 of donations, but our member didn't specify in the comments for which program it is, so that now the person who is managing that charity doesn't know that this alumni belongs to which university, and they would just put it in the general fund, right? So those are the, so when we, because I had that issue that if we never had any comments, if we had comments in the um, uh, in the matching program that hey, this is for this Islamabad batch scholarship, so we would dedicate that money to Islamabad batch scholarship. But if there are no comments, it would go to general scholarship. So this is one of the cons that would come with CPAC, that if we go to if you're donating directly from their website, yes, all good. But if you are in a matching program, then you would have to rely on the data to see which program the money is for.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Uh, Rafil, I joined late. I was quite busy this day. Uh, why we are forming a sister foundation? I mean, any reason?
I think we already debated this for 15 minutes.
Okay,
Kasim, I'll take this offline with you, but
okay,
I think
no problem.
because you're in part of the board, so we can have your feedback as well. Any other comments?
Should we make membership mandatory? No, that's not an option.
Yes, Faraz, you'll make my life difficult because everybody's gonna fight with me. Right now, people fight with me. Why even we have to fill up the membership form? And then we can say, hey, we have to keep track of who's coming into the, our groups and everything. And for castle compliance, we have to have
Mhm.
that data. So people right now even fight for us why they should fill the membership form. And obviously we like, so imagine, right? So now we had 570 members. We wouldn't have that kind of growth with that if we had put the membership fee.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be the type of person who just, goes in and it's the very first day without providing any benefit. I'm asking you for a fee. So I think the model works fine, even if you right now, I compare this to a mosque model as well, right? Like in mosque, when you go, a lot of people go to the mosque, and the people who donate or who donate a significant portion or volunteer are the voting members. Not every person who's coming to the mosque is a voting member. So I think we have kept that distinction, and anybody who's a FAST alumni, I shouldn't be declining them alumni association membership. So I think we need to understand that some of these are students, some of these are, people who are new immigrants. Maybe their circumstances don't allow, but for the people for whom the circumstances do allow, I think $20 is not much. I think we just need to create awareness of this, that this association runs on expenses, and it's basically unfair for board members to keep on pumping money to run this association, which is basically a joint ownership. It is not owned by Shiri, it is not owned by Raya, or it's not owned by Nanrana. It's owned by you guys. The day we get off the board, our names would be taken off as the directors. So, and I think that's what people need to appreciate.
But then, at some point, there has to be a call, right? That, hey guys, I know we don't want to push people to pay or anything, but like if you want this, this alumni association to function, we definitely need to, step up, do something about it. That's my point of view on
Music to my ears.
that. Like
Okay.
even in our meetups, informally, maybe, hey guys, I'm not saying we should be very pushy, but at least we should raise in our
No, I think
informal meetups.
I think the people from certain campuses can relate to it when, because the office holders of that association, when they used to go and introduce the alumni association to somebody, the very first thing that they would ask would be donation. So if I have not even provided you value, I'm meeting you for the very first time, I wouldn't do that. I would let come people and absorb the thing. But I think we have now enough track record of supporting our members, that we like, at least like people you guys are part of the group, right? Hundreds of question asked, 100 question answered. And we have placed 40 students in the last 2.5 years in different companies through referrals, so we are providing some value. But anyways, any other comment on the charity status before we move on?
Rafael, I don't have a comment, but like as far as the next steps are concerned, what's our next step? Are we making a poll for the journal, like for the rest of the members, or are we just going to decide as a board and make a call on that? Like, I just wanted to know what's the next step on to get to the consensus and move on.
The challenge is we can, I think, do you know? Because I can't see the screen. How many people are part of this call right now?
There were 15 people on the call when we started.
Okay, so
currently there are like almost 18 people, right?
Okay, so I think so now we have a group of 570. I'm only explaining this to 18 people, and I think a couple of them are board members. So I think sending out a poll won't help on will not give the context of it. We can put this recording on YouTube, ask people to view this like 10-15 minutes of what the issue is, and we can ask them to vote. But I think we now have gotten some insights from people. I think Rafia's point was fair as well, and Shadia's point was fair too. So I think at this time, I would we would still put a poll in, but I think we as a board members need to decide the pros and cons of it as well, and then proceed. So I think that would be the action item. That's the poll. So we have to get the voting done on bylaw anyways. So we can just put this additional question there in that poll, and just send it to the voting members, and whatever they decide, we'll proceed with that option. Regardless, so that everybody understands, we have already paid the lawyer the professional services fee. So we are not shying away from doing this, like the charitable status, because we've already paid the fee, and we just need to go back and tell them, hey, we would still like to proceed, or we are done with the engagement, we don't like to proceed, right? So in either case, in terms of expenses, it doesn't matter, because we have already paid that professional services fee to our lawyers for this work. Fair enough? Can we move?
Yeah, sure. Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so bylaws and constitution update. I'll just quickly go through this because I know we are way over time right now. I think the call is for 1 hour 30 minutes, but I just wanted to make sure that we give for other questions as well, we give people time. So we got the legal review done as part of that engagement with our lawyers as well. They identify that there were a few bylaw clauses that were in conflict. For example, the number of board directors in our article of incorporation were different than what were in our bylaws. Another thing that we've done, and you guys can provide us feedback. There's not going to be a poll of it. So we're keeping the feedback open until this Sunday before we send out a vote. That there are a lot of FAST Karachi alumni, the faculty, former faculty, Lahore faculty who wants to get involved, but we can't officially get them into our groups because we only allow our alumni. So some alumni associations do allow them and give them full membership. Some do not allow the membership. But in our case, what we have done is we have introduced a separate class, which is an affiliate member class that you are just an honorary member. You would not have a membership number, but you are part of the community, and so you can join our events if you have to. There were some changes in the voting membership criteria as well, because there was a separate $20 membership fees and a $50 donation. So people who donated $100 in donation, they were saying, okay, we paid $100, so we have kind of changed few things there just to make sure it's inclusive. Secondly, volunteers who donate time as well. So we have put a condition as well that if even if you do not donate money, but you donate 12 hours, you are still a voting member. So there are a few minor changes there, here and there, not major. Then the lawyer said to us that there should be a distinction between board members and officers, which I already explained in the first slide. So we have explained that, moved them into different sections, and kind of explained the roles and responsibility of board members and roles and responsibilities of executive committee. And then obviously we don't want that somebody who just joined the association to become a part of the executive committee. So there are certain clauses that you should have put some time there as a volunteer before you become a secretary or trader, because if you come in with no experience and you have no association with, you just joined yesterday, so just keeping the focus and growth there as well, so that the new team that takes over from us has the context and can grow this association. So the next one is the event. I think after the first event, I think people are asking when's the next one. There was a comment that it should be in a bit summer, but not real summer, because people are actually have own plans in summers. So we have locked the day for May 24th. It's also US Memorial Day weekend, so people from US can travel as well if they have to. We are trying few different things as a volunteer group that's exploring what to do. And yeah, so that's pretty much the update right now that we have on this. And we're looking forward that favorable weather conditions this time, and hoping a large number of alumni can join the event as well. So these are the areas that you can help with if you want to be part of the team. Invitations, coordination. I don't want to go into details because they were sent in the email as well. So if you're interested, reach out to one of the board members, and we'll add you to the group, and we'll plan things out. Okay, so what are our challenges? I already explained we have limited volunteers to run many different initiatives. So in social engagements, we have alumni, but then when we want to run, for example, mentorship programs, we want to do webinars, we don't find a lot of people interested in doing that. So that is also one of our main challenge. And fundraising is something that I already explained too much in this call, so I'll skip that. That remains another challenge. So how can you help? You can join committees. We intend to make committees like, social committee, membership committee, because right now you guys see us kind of manually approving the members and adding them in, which is a tedious task itself. Similarly, finance committee, because right now this year we haven't dispersed any money to university and scholarship because the US entity did. We may do it with the amount that we collected. We probably would do that in in spring. But normally we create a finance committee for it. So there's another option to join as a finance committee member. Engage with your local alumni chapter. Suggest an initiative, own that initiative. You can, since all of you guys are techies, you can offer skill-based workshops. You have seen the programs from IBA, NEDAC, and everybody, right? They are doing Python trainings, AI trainings. So maybe we can do a similar thing. And what they are kind of doing is they are charging for those trainings. So I believe the Python training, they're doing it for $200. So if you can do that for us, and charge some money, but some money goes, or maybe $50 go to us, that would help the association. Participate in fundraising campaigns, sponsor events monetarily or with providing your service as a volunteer, do knowledge sharing sessions, and do advocacy and outreach. So this is what I had. So now I'll just open the floor. I know if there are a few members here, and I'm gonna stop sharing my screen, and we can probably go into a feedback session and probably answer any other questions that you guys may have.
I think we need some
Any
icebreaker.
Sajid, you are the best person to do calm people down and do that. I had a long day at work to actually do that right now. But anyways, maybe any new immigrant who's here, maybe if we can help you in any way on this call, if you have any question, we can answer that, or any other general question that I didn't cover in this call, please feel free. Now this is an open call. I just want to keep another 15-20 minutes of open chat. Because I know that you guys, some of like Sajid Bhai is from Vancouver. He might not have a close idea of activities that we do on the central board, but any other suggestions, any other things that we can discuss, any way we can help you guys, feel free to ask.
Just a comment. I know that a lot of our alumni they already know, but just to share it again, that all the newcomers, especially who need some tips or how to research the job market or how to structure their resume, can reach out to me through WhatsApp. Just a comment, so if anyone missed it, so they know. And I am already worked with a lot of people, and yeah, so couple of them the uh, got actually selected too.
Kasim, you I think muted yourself, but thank you so much for your help that you continue to provide.
No problem, my pleasure.
Any other questions?
Just I would like to thank Mr. Kasim, and definitely it would be helpful for the alumni to get help from you guys. I think you guys are doing a very good job. Thank you.
Yeah, you are welcome. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry to put Kasim Bhai on the spot, but is it possible to have a interactive session with him as well, like we are having with Umair, I guess on this Saturday?
Yeah, definitely. This Saturday is actually I have a dental appointment, but definitely you can reach me through WhatsApp or
Okay.
DM me, and then we can schedule it for some time.
Okay.
Maybe on the later on the weekdays or on the weekend. Yeah, definitely.
So Utban, I'm hoping I'm
Yep.
pronouncing your name
Yep.
correctly, right?
Yep.
So we have to strategically go into the session. So our plan right now is to actually have resume session first, but then one of the feedbacks that we keep on hearing is, oh, I want to create a career in quality assurance or data scientist field and everything. So what we'll be probably doing is we'll do focus sessions in certain domains. Obviously, there we have now alumni in civil engineering. We now have alumni in marketing and socials. So we might not have the core competence there to actually help with every single field. What we plan on doing is that we will do sessions from our alumni in the fields that we excel in, and for the others, we'll probably seek help. from others for thanks, Adia. So from others to actually come in and do those sessions. So just consider this as one of the first sessions, and then there would be follow-up sessions later that we do.
Perfect. Thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, so if not, I will actually give you guys half an hour back. And thank you so much for joining. And this recording would be uploaded on YouTube. So if any of your friends who has not joined, you can share it with them. And really appreciate your support and taking out your time to join today's session.